Hey everyone, Green Cricket here, creating weekly in-depth Gwent guides chosen by the community, which includes you. Last week you went to see some armor, so this week we're looking at a Temerian deck which combines the strength of armor with Temerians. We'll be looking at the card deck list, a mulligan guide, our general gameplay plan and some tips to help you succeed with the deck, analysis of each matchup, and then we'll look at an example match. Don't forget to vote on next week's deck guide by leaving your suggestion down in the comments below and subscribe if you like what I'm doing. Also, if you want to support the creation of these weekly deck guides and join our little cricket community, then I would be honored if you check out my new Patreon page, which you can find the link down in the description below. Also welcome to our newest cricket member, Bob. And now, let's start. Deck consists of a Temerian and an armor package. The Temerian part is pretty straightforward. We have Blue Stripe Scouts, which buff up all Temerian units with the same power, and Blue Stripe Commanders, which jump out of the deck when a Temerian unit of the same power is played. Playing 3 Blue Stripe Scouts after each other in the beginning, therefore, offers us quite some value and also buffs up our Temerian infantry. Playing 1 Temerian infantry pulls the others out of the deck for a boring 9-point play. But by using Blue Stripe Scouts before, those Temerians can easily be 18 points for you, and if you played Faultless, they would even get you 21 points onto the board. Therefore, they are our ideal tempo play when we need it. Venom Roche is added for additional Temerian power because he adds another Blue Stripe commander to your deck and gets buffed by Blue Stripe Scouts as well while dealing 7 damage in addition. Great value. The Dude lets us choose a unit on the board and then tortoise the same card from our deck, enabling us to consistently get our Blue Stripe Scouts onto the board. Through marching orders, we have easier access to him and we also get a bit more filling. Reinforcement lets us access the Blue Stripe Scout if you don't have one in hand, or if the first one was killed off by our enemy in an attempt to mess with our setup. The armor package consists of Redanian Elites and Gwent Cavalries. Both are just 8-point plays, but they have the power to become quite valuable. Redanian Elite has 4 armor, but as soon as the armor reaches 0, then it will buff itself by 5, making it a 13-point play. And Gwent Cavalry is able to do precisely that, stealing the armor of any unit on the board, meaning friend or foe, buffing itself by the amount of armor taken. So if your Gwent Cavalry steals the armor of the Redanian Elite, you will have played a 12-point and a 13-point unit, which is solid tempo. Adding the Faultless buff, you even play a 13 and a 14-point unit. Gwent Cavalry does not run out of armor targets, even if you don't find Redanian Elite, because we have Prince Dennis and Shani. Prince Dennis pulls a random bronze or silver unit from the deck and adds 5 armor to it, whilst Dennis itself has 3 armor as well. Shani resurrects a non-cursed bronze or silver unit and adds 2 armor on top of it. The deck has only limited control options, but there are Deathmold, Margarita for Arethusa, and Selkirk. Deathmold is good to have against weather decks because of his weather clear, but sometimes an Elsa's Thunder lets you deal with an enemy engine. Margarita locks a target and resets it, which is especially useful against engines that tend to buff themselves up a lot, because you can just wait with playing Margarita until the very end to the 90 points. Both Deathmold and Margarita can be double played for Shani, by the way. Selkirk has 3 armor and duels an enemy, making it possible to remove an enemy unit up to 11 points to make Selkirk a 19-point play. If you played Faultless before, then you can even deal with a 12-point unit, making him a 21-point play. Then we have Thala for filling a bit more and the ability to counter spy, and last but not least, we have one of my favorite characters in the Witcher universe, Sigismund Dijkstra. Dijkstra lets you play the top 2 cards from the deck for a ton of points, and since we fin a lot thanks to Temerians and other cards, we're quite sure what to get from Dijkstra most of the time. The mulligan itself is quite straightforward. We want to keep all our golds, Blue Stripe Scouts, 1 Temerian Infantry, the Dude, Stannis, Marching Orders, Reinforcement, Thala, and depending on the matchup, Deathmold or Margarita. Cards we want to get rid of are Blue Stripe Commandos, Temerian Infantries if we have one on hand, and the armor package because we want to focus on Blue Stripe Scouts first. Blacklisting Blue Stripe Commanders first is very important here, since you have 4 of them in the deck. Therefore, this will improve your card draw significantly. Our gameplay plan would look like this. Round 1, we try to fin and get as many Blue Stripe Scouts out as possible. We don't really care about the color of the coin because passing without getting the Blue Stripe Commanders out can lead to very awkward mulligans later on. Also, The more we fin round 1, the more we can control what Dijkstra will pull us in round 3. The main difference to Foltest Swarm decks is that after we play our scouts, we do not need to think of committing to a round or not, because we can always play along thanks to our armor package. As long as you got your blue strap scouts out, you can play long or short rounds, so play precisely what is most suboptimal for your enemy. I've seen Temerian infantry often used as a round 3 finisher, which makes sense because of the big points, but if we do that, then Stannis, Thala and even marching orders may become awkward to play. Therefore, I like to use them as a push tool in round 1 to get card advantage on red or to push an enemy out of the round when I need it. After all commanders and infantries are played, it is a good idea to establish one Redanian elite on the board. Then, you can safely play Stannis for more tempo and finning, because now Katveni Cavalry has a target if Stannis pulls it. Beware that Stannis can pull Deathmold and Margarita, so check if there are good targets for them before you play Stannis. As usual, the gameplay differs from matchup to matchup, so let's go for each one of them and see what we need to be aware of. Greatswords. Try to deny as many Greatswords as possible through Seltkirk, Vernon Roche, Deathmold and Margarita. Wait until the counter is at 1 to postpone the setup as long as possible. Get your blue strap scouts out as usual and wait until they have completed the Greatsword setup. Now you can pass, therefore forcing them to do a setup once again. Keep Dijkstra as your round 3 finisher to match the resurrected Greatswords in power. Veterans. Play into round 1 to get your scouts out. Be ready to pass if they are playing Morkvarg and you can't use Margarita to lock it. As long as Morkvarg is on the field, you won't be able to get anything from winning round 1, except you have access to Spy in round 2 and they don't, because you can't dry pass on them. Other than that, just follow the usual game plan and mulligan away Margarita, since she won't be of much use here. AXEMEN. Margarita is your best friend in this matchup, but Seltkirk could also be used to remove a Darren or an AXEMEN. Keep Deathmold to remove Goldweather and Skelliger Storm and try to split the rounds, so your enemy needs to place AXEMEN on the board, which then can be removed by your passing. Remember that Shani can resurrect Margarita for your round 3 play. Shoop's Coyatel. This deck is similar to ours because it doesn't really care about round length. Its Coyatel units can put out decent power on the board just on their own. You can get ahead with your blue stripe scouts, and then I try to stay in the round because in a new round you will lose the tempo advantage. Keep Temerian infantry to bridge the point gap when they do a power play. Nilfgaard hand buff. You can use Seltkirk to get rid of the first knight to delay the setup, but you probably won't be able to deny it. Go for a long round 1, establish better with Deathmold, and push hard with your blue stripe scouts. If you have access to Shani, then you can use Margarita early as well, otherwise keep her to deny your opponent a big unit in round 3. ALCHEMY. Witchers won't find good targets in the beginning, so it's okay to just go ahead and push. Deathmold into Weather is also not a bad thing if you are in for a long run, since Alchemy has no way to deal with it. Keep Margarita to reset the unit that has been buffed by Swallow and hopefully multiple Ales. And kill the Calvate before they can apply Mandrake on him if you think that you play against a Kahir deck. Vernon Roche is optimal for that. Soldiers. They will overtake you in a long round, and you don't have the tools to get rid of the slave infantries. So try to push and then pass before they can overtake you. The shorter round 3, the more chance you have in winning, since they typically need a bit of setup while your Dijkstra can generate tons of points, especially when it hits your armor package. DEATHWISH. There's not really much you can do to interfere with the gameplay except maybe destroying the dials for them and by using Margarita on an Archspore so they won't take for a full round. So just follow normal gameplay and try to stay ahead of the enemy. And now, let's look at some example gameplay.
Nilfgaard!
But it was my fault, not the
Close
decks.
ranks!
I mean, you could just play this from hand. Would be nice tempo. You can play Foltest to get one more out. That's even better. Rank 18? Oh yeah, true. Actually, we became rank 18. No, rank 19, right? Anyway, that's fine. We don't want to risk drawing into the bullshit cards. I think we want to always play into the round, even against Alchemy.
Elves must die!
Let's see. Margarita is against Alchemy not that bad, because normally they have like a big unit which is buffed by ales or by swallows. It's a soldier list. Okay, sure. Then we need to find the right passing spot.
Elves must die!
Margarita against soldiers is kind of
Of course, as you wish, master.
Let's see. Smart boy. He's buffing up his soldiers so they can't be removed from me. Do you want to get another cavalry out immediately?
Close
I
ranks!
think so. Okay, now we just need to hope that like another Blue Star commander won't jump in here, because then he could ignite. And that would be problematic. Gotta just play something else just now, just for tempo. So if he ignites now, he just hits the 9-point unit, if he runs Igni. Because otherwise the Igni would have just like way too good.
That was
I can't. Oh, Dead Ointment. Perfect. So we can now push a bit further.
Regroup!
Yeah, that's exactly why I played the 9 in here. Look at this. Would have been like the perfect Igni. So... would that work? What? He played this from hand. Interesting. Interesting. Well, this is only 2 ammo now. I can steal this. I wanna keep this for later, I guess.
For the king!
It was not that much of a tempo boost because I already hit the armor, but like 2 points. Well.
I'll do what I can.
Oh, he's really... he's really pushing with his alchemy spells. He's not going into the he's not going into the sentry territory yet. Margarita can hit for quite some value here. Don't want to play this because we have nothing to trigger it. Don't want to play this because I want to keep it. Do already play Margarita.
I hope we can trust you.
Just for tempo. The thing is, I wanna get cards. Who's actually playing Alchemy? Look at this. It's like some mixture. Well, the question is, like, I actually wanted to bleed him of cards, so he can't play some sentries later. But like those cards, I want to keep for round 3 actually. Because we find everything we need. Wait, this +9 is... we can play Spy and we can just take it with Radiant Elite.
Who takes an interest in cobblers? No
That's
one.
fine. Now we actually can play the 9 and the other 9 for insane tempo. Ah. Is he looking for a Spy as well? Because I want to win round 1 now.
Onward!
We have like some
Sons of
this
Nilfgaard!
is awesome. Some insane tempo here. Well, let's get them
Come
out.
to Pappy!
It's also good for the mulligan. We can always like win with one of those. And if he plays longer, then we can. Okay, well there we go.
Troops!
Good.
Now!
We got him down to 3 cards. I'm not too sure if it's smart actually, because he's playing like the soldier alchemy mixture thing, and not like push soldiers. But what do I know? Don't know this. Well, okay, this is okay. I would like to see Dijkstra or something. Well, we need to play long round. There's no, doesn't make sense for us to play short round. Worst case, even spices or something. Can't wait for the Kambi play. Ah, yeah, true. Yeah, I promised in my Discord that I will look at Kambi today. So Let me just like play some more ranked ladder. Actually, let's maybe play some pro ladder matches after this, because I just need to push my. I can even lose in pro ladder theoretically. I just need to play some games to get my MR up. Okay, so Kirk. Where's my Dijkstra? Man, I don't even have access to Stannis. This is like really not awesome. I can pull like another 20 calories, so I need to rest like a redeem an elite. Well, let's hope like that the armor package is enough to get going. We just play soldiers from Mark and setup and no forged soldiers from soil. The funny thing is, yeah, like that was actually the list a lot of people played at the beginning of the midwinter season until they figured out that slave driver is a better way, and it seems like people are now just defaulting back to that. So let's play this elite before that, because Shani into like this elite will actually be even better.
Now, how did that incantation go?
Hold up the cavalry.
Well, it's war. Severed limbs, blood, and guts.
So this is now a 6 armor. It's even more yum yum for my cavalry. Now let's see what I will sell Kirk. So 11 points, it's actually pretty decent. We could already use it. That's the Doom version. I think we take it. It's not a bad... It's not bad point-wise. 20 points. So we're 7 points up. And we haven't played the big value plays so far. And he can't kill it with a Witcher, and he doesn't want to hit it actually, because then they will buff themselves. That's why he wants to hit Self-Kill. Yeah, there we go.
Dirty.
Now we sadly give him Witcher targets, but what can we do?
I can't win!
Bam! 13 points. It's just insane value-wise. It's crazy. Okay, sure. I mean, he's like, he didn't draw his gold cards.
You
so...
one of us or not? I'm itching for that battle.
Bam! 20 points ahead. Last round. Nice! Cool. Don't forget to vote on next week's deck guide by leaving a comment down below, and subscribe if you like what I'm doing. If you want to see more, I'm streaming around lunchtime, Central Eastern Time, and you can also find my older deck guides over there. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.